Hey you guys, it's Unique with NewTravels.tv, and I'm back with another one. Today's the day that Trump won the election. I decided I was going to come and make a video, more of a recap video, a video that's on my channel, but that was in 2016, and I just wanted to talk about if I wanted to leave, how would I do it, right? So I've been seeing a lot of posts of like, oh, I need to get out of America. I don't know how to leave. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, I know I have the video on my channel, but I still get messages of people asking me this because I know the video is so far down in my many, many videos from 2016 to now. So I was like, well, let me come back and talk about it again and retouch on it. Um, I moved out of America in 2016 to be an ESL teacher. So it's funny, my mom is calling me right now prior to talk about this election situation. But to be an ESL teacher, ESL stands for English as a Second Language. I had a bachelor's degree. That's all you need, a bachelor's degree in any subject, okay? Any subject, and a TEFL, which is TEFL, teach English foreign language, but it's teaching English as a foreign language. And you can get one from Groupon for $15. I literally just looked. Back in the day in 2016, it was $5, but now it's $15. You don't need some fancy smancy TEFL. Anybody tell you that, they lying. 120-hour TEFL is all you need, and you can get one from Groupon and do the course online for $15. You take that, you take your bachelor's degree, and you apply for jobs. I would say, like me personally, I would aim for Asia. The cost of living is low. They especially need teachers, so it's easy to get a job. They pay for your flight, they pay for your housing, they pay for your health insurance. The saving is amazing. You might find that your salary is nowhere near the salary that you were making in America, but you will save a lot more than you ever saved in America just because you're not paying rent. The cost of living is low. You're just buying your food, which is cheap. Um, your utilities are cheap. um, and yeah, the money is yours to bank and pocket and travel and do whatever with. Um, I did a year in China and a year in Taiwan, and when I left, I had over 30K saved in those 2 years. Just for transparency, and I wasn't making a lot. I was making like $1,500 a month when I was in China, $1,500 a month, y'all. When I was in China, I saved 1,000, and I lived off of 500, and I lived fine. And I traveled. I went to When I was living in China, I went to go visit Taiwan, which is how I ended up moving there a year later. I visited Vietnam. I visited Thailand. Like, I wasn't just sitting at home doing nothing. I, got into an expat group. There are a lot of expat groups, and went out often and things like that. And I still was able to save an exceptional amount while being in China. My goal, like my minimum goal from watching other people's videos on YouTube, was to save $10,000. And I saw that if I had a $1,500 job, I could live off of five and save 10. So when I went into job interviews, I was like, this is what I need from y'all. I probably could have made more, but that was like my baseline. Um, and yeah, so a lot of times your flight, you pay for it and then they reimburse you. But sometimes I pay for it up front. But I will say that I paid for my flight. Um, and then they reimburse me. And usually in your contract, it'll tell you how much they reimburse you. So for example, my flight might have been, $800, but their reimbursement is for higher than that. Sometimes they ask for a receipt. Sometimes they just give you that blank number that's probably higher than what your flight actually costs. It just depends. Um, so yeah, those are the only things you need. And then you get online and you Google ESL jobs in China, or ESL jobs in Vietnam, or ESL jobs or English teaching jobs if you want to type it out, in Thailand, in the Philippines, in Indonesia, in just all the places I think of, in Taiwan. Taiwan has a really good program called Teach Taiwan, where you could be in the public schools. That's a program I went through. And their website literally is teaching Taiwan, like .com or something like that. I recently got an email from them not too long ago, like reaching out, like, hey, are you still, you want to come back to Taiwan? I'm like, no, I moved on, whatever. Um, but yeah, and there's all kind of schools. They're big conglomerate schools like English First, specifically in China. And I just keep focusing on China because China is so big, the cost of living is so low, and because they're so big, you can always find a job. They're always hiring. Okay. Um, and their market is more competitive. Like, you can make different amounts versus maybe some other countries like Thailand, where the cost of living is low and your pay is kind of around the same amount no matter what part of Thailand you're working in, if you are an English as a second language teacher, ESL teacher. um, so anyway, you have companies like English First, Disney English, Wall Street English, and those are just some I could think of off the top of my head. In Taiwan, there was HESS, HESS. Um, that's also a company that has schools all over Taiwan that you can work at, and all these interviews are virtual. This was even before like COVID and everything went virtual. All the internet interviews back then were on Skype. I don't know if they're like moved to Zoom or well, for China, definitely wouldn't be Google Meets because they don't have Google. Just so you know, Google is banned. But yeah, so if you're wanting to branch out or you want to leave, I'm seeing all these posts on social media saying I need to get out of here, I need to leave for the next 4 years, or I don't want to be here, blah blah blah. You don't have to feel trapped, or it could have nothing to do with the election, and you just want to try something new. You just want to explore the world, or you want it to be paid for, and do something different. You can. As a black, masculine presenting lesbian woman, I'm out here in these streets, living this life since 2016, and I met many of us out here throughout my travels and throughout my time. Um, yeah, so if you have any questions or need to know more information, again, when you Google it, places will come up. I would say another website is Dave ESL, Dave ESL Cafe, I think is what it's called. Again, I'm remembering these things off the top of my head back from when I used to look for jobs. I'm no longer a ESL teacher. I'm now a school counselor. But so there are plenty more that I'm just not remembering. But I just did my research. Google is a person's best friend. But Dave ESL Cafe, there was another one called like China Cities, and all these jobs hired through recruiters. So don't think, oh, my hand was in the camera, my bad. Again, we do one takes around here, so I'm not I'm not editing it. I'm not deleting it. This is what's gonna get posted. So I don't know. I lost my train of thought of what I was gonna say. But and most of these jobs hired through recruiters. Just so you know. So there's like a middleman to staffing you for the position. In Shenzhen for the public schools, they had Sea Dragon and they had another one. Oh, I can't remember it now off the top of my head. But anyway, Shenzhen is a place in China, which is where I lived and worked for a year. But yeah, there's just so many. So if you have any questions or you need help looking or whatever, hit me up. Drop a comment. Even if you don't have a bachelor's degree and you want to leave, hit me up. Drop a comment. I got some game to put you on if need be. But yeah, it's uniqueuniquetravels.tv. Like, subscribe, share, and everything's gonna be all right.